Okay, so football is back. It's finally here once again, and with football being back, the universe itself has seemingly gone back to a balanced format, where Raiders fans and Browns fans are sad again, Taylor Swift is taking dubs, and overall, honestly, I'm just happy we got a great week, and what's looking like to be a special NFL season, so I'm really excited, and let's just get into the games right away. For someone that was very concerned about the Ravens going into the season, I was definitely surprised for a lot of very different reasons. First of all, I don't know, maybe it was just me, but the offense for Baltimore seemed really simple. Like they were missing an explosive type player to just bust open defenses, and maybe they'll get that if Keaton Mitchell returns at full strength, but in this game versus Taylor, they just couldn't keep up. Against all odds, Patrick Mahomes remains good with balls, and although the offense for KC did look pretty rusty, the offensive potential was scarily there. I mean, Kelsey did absolutely nothing, but Rashee Rice looks like a true wide receiver one for now, and Xavier Worthy can run fast, so that's cool. And meanwhile, the Ravens defense played pretty great while the offense did a solid job, and in the end, it just wasn't enough. And that to me is just terrifying. The fact that the Ravens played solid, yes, they were rusty and had a bunch of penalties early on, but they played well enough to win a football game, but against the Kansas City Chiefs, they just couldn't do it. Now, yes, that last drive was absolutely nuts, and apparently Mark Andrews lost 7 years of his youth in that car accident, and Isaiah likely just siphoned all of his raw energy into himself, because Isaiah looked incredible all game long, but especially on that last drive. I mean, if Lamar gives him a chance on that corner shot, or if his foot was a centimeter shorter, we're talking about a whole different narrative here. But what we got was a Baltimore L. Lamar's getting shit on for missing Zay on the last play, even though it wasn't really his fault, and his O-line was paper mache, forcing him to run it an unhealthy 8 times in the first half. But whatever, who cares about any of that? L plus ratio plus Lamar sucks, Mahomes is the GOAT.
A bad decision by Jalen Hard.
Holy Moses, this field is dog NFL. What are we doing here? Well, okay, maybe I'm being a little bit harsh. At least there were no devastating injuries as a result of the NFL's greedy marketing ploy. And so, when the actual game began, it started off slow because, well, I mean, this is week 1. Everyone's always rusty. But when it started to heat up, boy, did it heat up. It turns out, when you take one of the most talented running backs in the history of the NFL in his prime and stick him behind one of the NFL's best offensive lines, the rest of the league just has a problem to deal with. Because Saquon was just unstoppable. The sure threat of Jalen Hurts keeping the ball is already enough to terrify linebackers, but to have to gamble on which one of these dudes you think is holding the ball, and if you choose wrong, then you're going to get what happened on Friday with 3 Saquon touchdowns scorching Green Bay. And you know, if you were a normal person and didn't buy Peacock for one game and instead were forced to close a jerkmate ad every 6 seconds just to watch a goddamn football game, you might have missed a Matt LaFleur masterclass, because the Packers started matching the Eagles blow for blow. Jayden Reed is a guy that was, in my mind, primed to take a leap this year, and he lived up to the hype in week 1 with the old guys for the Eagles continuing to eat themselves, and from there, it was clear whoever made the last mistake would basically lose the game. And then, Jalen Hurts, who had played a pretty up-and-down game thus far, dropped back, and how do you drop that Keyshawn? Are you shitting me? Whatever, okay, I guess that's it. That's game. Fantastic. That's a pick 6 gone with the f***ing wind. But wait, because after a Jalen Hurts pick, Keyshawn Nixon made sure his presence was felt when he f***ing Odell'd the kickoff and brought it out a grand total of 10 yards. And then, Jordan Love and the Packers took the field for a chance to steal the game, and he f***ing died. The field that already blasted his calves now took his leg, and the Packers are now going to hopefully not drop their next 4 or 5 games without their leader, and in a division like the NFC South, where every other team is 1-0 already, I don't really know if that's possible. So, I don't know, Packers, I'm not saying it's anywhere near over. You're totally fine, and you look good in a lot of spots, but you got an uphill battle from here. Well, this is a weird one, because on one hand, this is pretty much what I thought was going to happen by the look at the scoreboard, and if you ignore the first quarter, this would have been a Bills blowout, but on the other, the Cardinals really should have won this game, man. Josh Allen is good at football, we know this, and hopefully his injury isn't going to be that bad, but you knew that Josh Allen was going to do that. And the Cardinals also knew that their defense wasn't going to contain shit, so it was all up to Kyler and the defense to match the Bills, or at least die trying. But no, instead, they completely shut down in the second half. Just completely. I mean, the first quarter was cool, but it seemed a little fluky at the time, and in the second half, with a chance to build a 3-possession lead, Kyler threw for 31 yards total in the half. I don't know what else to say, but that's not going to get it done. And don't even get me started on the last drive. Now, obviously, this Ewok could only see a face full of man tits instead of a wide-open Marvin Harrison, but the offense was just not clicking. The chemistry looked off, with Kyler probably scrambling a little too many times early on plays, but in the end, hey, a bad team almost beat a good team, so you can't really get that mad if you're a Cardinals fan. Just move on next week and hope that Kyler isn't going to do this again.
Because I believe that you understand. Revenge.
Well, the chef was out for this little duel, and with Justin Fields here to lead the Arthur Smith revenge game, what we got was, well, the most predictable game script for an Arthur Smith revenge game possible. Only field goals by the Steelers, Cordell Patterson getting a ton of work for no good reason, and meanwhile, the Falcons just sat there and bled out in their own unique way, because this actually wasn't really an offensive ineptitude battle, and it really was just a defensive duel, because TJ Watt was having a normal day where he completely took over the game, and the Falcons offense was really struggling. Kirk Cousins was not having a fun debut, and I mean, let's be honest here, this game was comedy gold. I mean, this is what I've been missing in my life. The Falcons just finding new ways to lose games and piss off their fan base. It's so good to be back, man. So good. So remember this offseason when the Falcons wiped away their entire coaching staff, brought in Captain Kirk, and paired him along with overwhelming first-round talent on offense like Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Ray McLeod, and did everything to make sure that the offense was not the issue. It couldn't be, but in this game, it was. The Falcons' offense got clamped, and yes, the Steelers' defense is amazing, but scarily enough, the play calling was pretty meh. Kirk missed throws, and as will probably be a theme, if teams can get pressure on Kirk Cousins, he will make mistakes, which is what basically led to the game-winning pick. So, I mean, I don't know, Kirk did not look mobile, but the panic button is nowhere near in pressing distance. But it is on the table. Just keep that in mind, because if you drop the next, 2 or 3 games, then you're going to be smashing that thing with force. Just make sure you show up versus the Eagles next week, because if you don't, we got big issues. I don't really know what to make of this game, to be honest with you, because I feel like these teams were evenly matched, but I also feel like they both didn't really play as good as they could have. If Anthony Richardson didn't overthrow Adonai Mitchell, and if Kylan Granson didn't slip, the Colts probably win this game. But also, if Jimmy Ward didn't just smoke 4 bowls before this game and got smoked by Alec Pierce, then the Texans probably walk away with this game pretty convincingly. But in the end, Houston proved to just be a little bit more talented. Joe Mixon was getting absolutely fed and was running all over the Colts defense, flashing Arian Foster potential, which somehow, I still can't believe Joe Mixon is just good now, but dude literally went from being one of the most inefficient running backs in football to the best running back in the league, apparently. And although CJ Stroud definitely didn't play as good as his stats reflect, he made plays when it mattered most, picked up huge third downs, always converted in the red zone, and Nico Collins made a grown man play to ice the game. And you know what? In the end, that's all that really matters. Contenders make plays on the road and win big games like this. So, both sides are definitely leaving the battlefield wounded, but happy, I feel like. I mean, AR-15 showed a ton of potential. His arm was just ridiculous. He threw one of the best passes I've ever seen on the touchdown to Alec Pierce, but, for Houston, too, they won the game, and CJ Stroud looked pretty good, so this is going to be a very exciting matchup the next time these two teams face off. It's going to be wild. But before we go any further, I've partnered with Geology for this sponsored video, and they're here to help you out, because chances are, if you're watching this video, you're probably a guy, and also chances are, you probably don't have a good skincare routine. But luckily, Geology is here to save you, because what they do is assist you with your own unique needs, as they create a personalized routine just for you based on a quick and easy 60-second quiz you fill out, and right away, they'll deliver a derm-graded personalized routine straight to your doorstep. And as you can see, my routine, I received a Regiment 28 because I tend to have pretty oily skin, and I received a full set of moisturizing cream, a face wash, and even more. And the beauty of this whole thing comes from the simplicity. And once again, if you struggle with forming a routine, Geology is here to make that as easy as possible. So if you're interested in forming a good skincare routine, go to the link in the description or scan the QR code to use code Tubfrog70 and grab 70% off your own personalized skincare trial set. So once again, that is code Tubfrog70 for 70% off your order. And with that, thank you to Geology for partnering with me, and let's get back to the recap. Wait. Well, this is not the start you want, Cincinnati. The Patriots played the game pretty perfectly, and the Bengals got decently unlucky on a ton of plays, but I mean, come on, bruh. It's the Patriots. Are you kidding me? And Jacoby didn't even do anything. The Bengals made Ramondre Stevenson, who's usually about as explosive as your local garbage man, look like prime Jamal Charles. I mean, he was plowing them all day. Just plowing them. There wasn't a single moment in this game where the Patriots didn't control the pace of play completely. And when the Bengals had a chance to change that late in the game, they elected to punt the ball away, and that was that. Still though, I mean, you gotta give credit to the Patriots. They played a great game, and the defense looked really solid all day long, but I'm already concerned, Cincinnati. I don't think Joe Burrow's the problem whatsoever, because, like I said, it's not his fault Gesicki dropped it, or they fumbled on the one, or the special teams fumbled, but there just seems to be bad energy surrounding this team. I don't know, I'm probably talking out of my ass here, but it just didn't seem like any of them were having a ton of fun. And with the Chiefs coming up next week, like it or not, we're gonna find out everything there is to know about this team, so yeah. I'm not feeling too great about my Bengals Super Bowl prediction already, but, you know, we'll see how they do against Tay-Tay.
I can't do it. I can't do it, Squidward.
Who's ready for New York Giants football, baby? My fucking sanity definitely wasn't, because that got evaporated within seconds of me remembering that Daniel Jones has a job in the National Football League. I mean, the Giants might be the worst team in football, and I knew the offense was going to be putrid, let's be honest, we all did, but the defense was terrible too. Sam Darnold was damn near the leading MVP candidate at halftime, and although he did cool down, the damage was done. And this was without Justin Jefferson crusading them by himself. Seriously though, where do you go from here, New York? Because Daniel Jones cannot hold John Michael Schmitz's sack for a 17-game season. The New York population will get sliced in half, and I don't really have a solution for you either, to be honest with you. Maybe at some point Horse Block can get some run once Daniel Jones' body is finally sacrificed to appease the Ozempic gods that brought Brian Dable under 290. Look, I know I'm being mean, and I'm sorry. I like Malik Neighbors. I really do. I think he's a great player, and I just don't want you to ruin your next 5 years of existence because you made the playoffs one time 2 years ago. It's sad to see this franchise fall like this. It is, and that's it. You know, I should probably say something about the Vikings. Andrew Van Ginkel looked good. That's nice. If I woke up with a 17-inch iron fork shoved up my ass every day, I would probably still enjoy life a little bit more than being a Jaguars fan, because in just week one, classic Jaguars football is back and swinging, and with that comes a healthy dosage of good old-fashioned depression. Genuinely, how do you lose this game? The defense was containing the Dolphins' offense early, and with loving father Tyreek Hill dealing with his first legal trouble in his life, you'd think the Jaguars would just handle business, which they did. Once again, the defense was clamping, and T-Law on the offense looked pretty great. Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas were adding a whole new element to the team, and then everything changed when Travis Etienne fumbled. Like, literally everything was completely swung, because immediately Chris Brown made them pay, and just like that, the Dolphins and Jaguars were locked into a coin flip game. But in the end, the Jags just couldn't do enough. The Dolphins' defense got a lot more aggressive with more blitzing and really made Trevor Lawrence uncomfortable, and Doug Peterson being 75% illiterate didn't help. Terrible offensive line play happened, and Jason Sanders called game, saving the Dolphins from honestly a very potentially ugly loss. As for the Jaguars, why they didn't address any of these problems that were glaring last year in the offseason is beyond me, but they didn't, and they've just resorted to praying Trevor Lawrence can do everything by himself and bail them out with his talent. But I don't know, I guess there are some positives. Tank Bigsby might not be the worst player in the NFL anymore, and the defense is really a serious force if they can keep this up. But, you know, Tyson Campbell got hurt again because fuck you, Jacksonville, so I don't know. The Jaguars didn't look atrocious, I guess, but with the way the Colts and Texans showed that they could look throughout the season, this is not going to be enough. And especially this loss versus the Dolphins, another AFC contender for a wildcard spot, this game could actually cost you a playoff spot 3 months down the line. I don't know what else to say, Panthers fans. All I can really say is, I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. I don't even need to say anything else. I mean, Bryce Young's first pass was an interception. I believed in him too. I thought things could change, but like, from a mental standpoint, I just don't know how Bryce Young recovers from this. I'm sorry, dude. I just don't have the stomach to keep talking about the Panthers. It feels like bullying. But meanwhile, the Saints look great. Derek Carr was dealing, and the Clint Kubiak system was looking perfect. So as long as Marshawn Lattimore can recover fine, this team can be a problem. Now, obviously, I don't expect this to be anywhere near sustainable, but this is still just an above-average team. I don't know, Carolina. You might actually just want to change teams at this point. It's not worth it to endure this pain. So, Caleb Williams is good, right? We don't have to worry about him being a bust, right? I mean, Jesus Christ, I don't think he could have been any worse. You could double his passing yards from Sunday, and he still wouldn't have had as much as Zach Wilson's rookie debut. The dude just looked flustered and lost, but for this particular game, it didn't matter because Will Levis was just not having a good time. The masseuse of mayonnaise was stuck in a living nightmare all day because the Bears' defense was just his boogeyman, with the special teams also doing a great job, and I don't know, dude. The Titans' offense still damn near outplayed the Bears' offense, mainly because of volume, but it didn't matter. At one point, Chicago was down 17-0 and came back to take a 24-17 lead without scoring a single offensive touchdown. Do you know how rare that is? So, I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion, of course, but I think Will Levis is just not good. He just didn't look confident out there at all, and that was kind of his main selling point as a quarterback. And yes, I know the Bears defense is good, but he made about 8 too many low IQ football plays for me and almost single-handedly cost his team this game. So, you know, honestly, both teams are probably leaving this game disappointed, but one of them is 1-0, and in the end, a win is a win.
Yep, back at it.
So, this game really hurt, and it hurt for reasons that don't have to do with the actual game. It's the realization that the same shit keeps happening, and the cycle isn't going to stop anytime soon. Week 1, 2012, new coach, healthy quarterback in Carson Palmer. Shit on in Week 1, season's over. Week 1, 2015, developing Derek Carr, new coach, new culture. Shit on in Week 1, season over. Week 1, 2018, first year of the Gruden era, 1 year removed from the playoffs. Shit on, season over. Week 1, 2022, the Josh McDaniels era begins. Shit on by the Chargers, season over. And it just happened again. Everything I thought this team could be has been taken away from me. The offense was so impossibly terrible. Minshew played so poorly, and we just looked so conservative. Pierce was outcoached on every single level, failing to challenge a free first down and giving up before halftime. And all the while, Khalil Mack, my favorite player for so many years, every time we play him, he
Pull the fucking bed sheet over the head of my head and just proceed to skull fuck me!
I better stop or my keyboard's getting sent to the Shadow Realm. I really do think it's over, though. I might be being a little bit too negative, but I've seen this stick too many times, and, you know, I don't know. I just want to see one average playoff team in my life. Just one. That's all I ask for. It's probably too much, but it's what I want. And, you know, honestly, the Chargers didn't even look that good. We just destroyed ourselves from the first snap to the last, so. Can't wait for the Ravens game.
Yes, sir!
Well, at least the Browns are here to join me in the pit of despair as always. So, Deshaun Watson is bad. Like, way worse than I thought he was going to be. And I compared this Browns team to the 2023 Jets, and even that might not have been far enough. I mean, the first half was a travesty. The Browns had 54 total yards and 7 penalties, and it didn't even get better from there. The game was over in the third, and the Cleveland Browns allowed the Cowboys to do their annual celebration where they get suckered into believing they're the best team in the league, only for it all to come collapsing down. But I don't know, I feel like this new breed of Cowboys fans should at least start to smarten up a little bit, and they should know what's coming. Meanwhile, I gotta say it, man. I know it's low-hanging fruit, but the $230 million list is over here just cutting the lawn for 60 minutes, while Baker Mayfield might actually just be a top 10 quarterback now. But, you know, this had to happen. Is it really football season if Browns fans aren't just getting their assholes absolutely gutted by the football gods? What a disgraceful performance all around, though. At this point, I'm just rooting for Jameis to come in after Deshaun's dick gets sore, and he leads the team to a Flacco run, because at this point, I think it goes beyond the field. Flacco's play on the field was good, but I think what made him so respected was that the guys believed in him and actually liked the guy as a person, and I'm not sure people are even getting along with Bill behind closed doors. It's a terrible situation overall, so thanks for making me feel at least a little bit better about myself, Cleveland. Appreciate it.
Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
Now, you also know football's really back when there's a Broncos 1 p.m. game on that nobody really cares about. And for the majority of it, the game was just weird. I mean, how often do you see a double safety game and a loss? Because Seattle's O-line was putting a legacy performance up to lead first team all Popeyes this year. It was nuts how bad they were. But then things started to pick up in the second half due to, get this, adjustments. Seattle makes them now, I guess. And with Bo Nix clearly not ready yet, this made things easy for Seattle to take their time and scheme Kenneth Walker to the sideline and actually made use of his explosiveness. And although the score looks close, for most of the second half, this was Seattle's game to lose. A lot of positives here, though. Geno wasn't great and DK was quiet, but the offense had flashes despite the struggles, and the defense was really good. Once again, though, this was against an offense led by a rookie and Devon Valley? I don't know who that is, I'm going to be honest with you. But the rebuild is in full swing, and all you got to do, Broncos fans, is pray for good health and development from all your younglings.
I'm going to bust nut.
Baker Mayfield. Oh, Baker, please. I can't take it anymore. It's too funny. Just to go back to the Browns for a second, Baker's been better than Deshaun for a while. We knew that already. But it's just too good that so many people were convinced that Deshaun would revert back into his Houston form, and Baker went out and just took over. 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no picks. Now, yes, this was Washington, whose defense was not really a defense, but it was still impressive, and Evans and Godwin also looked great, while meanwhile, Jaden Daniels was also solid. He has a lot to learn, but for week 1, flashes and fantasy points are really all you can ask for. He's just got to learn to fasten his f***ing helmet a little bit more, because I don't think I've seen a dude's helmet on the ground more than this. So, a lot of positives for both sides. Move on to the next week, Tampa, and you got a real shot at this division title. A rematch from the game of the year last year on primetime? Say less. And although the game started out slow, that's not a bad thing at all. It was a defensive lock, and I knew the Lions' defense was going to be great, especially Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, my God, was he a problem, but the Rams' defense was really giving the Lions problems. Amon-Ra and Laporta were completely taken out of the game, and it took Jameson Williams snatching an elderly man's ankles for the Lions to take a lead, but then the script came into play, and boy, was it a good one, the football gods had pre-written. Taketh away Stafford's O-line, like actually all of them. Taketh away his top receiver and give him constant pressure on every single play, and it will not matter. Because the fourth quarter and on was pure cinema. It felt like it was just Stafford and Cooper Kupp versus the entire Lions team, and they were popping off. Stafford was diming everyone up, eviscerating the Lions D, and he knew exactly where he wanted to go with the ball before he threw it, and during the last drive that involved some filthy passes, including another routine no-look dot, he found Cooper Kupp in the end zone, and I gotta take a minute to appreciate this man, because I forgot how much I love watching Matthew Stafford play football, and I'm really gonna miss him when he's gone. But the story did not have a happy ending for Matthew, because luck was not on his side as the Lions won the coin flip in overtime, with Ben Johnson realizing Goff was not on his game today, and rode David Montgomery all the way down the field and called game in another Rams-Lions classic. Alright, sometimes football can be pretty cool.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening!
Well, I don't even know what to say about this game. The 49ers just dominated from the first snap to the last. Their blocking was absolutely obliterating the Jets' thought to be amazing defense, and Aaron Rodgers played football. And hear me out here. I think he actually looked very, very good. Every time he dropped back, I was terrified he was just going to snap in half, but he made good reads, he made good throws, he just didn't get the ball in the first half. And even though early on the 49ers weren't really capitalizing on all their free chances, like when Breece Hall fumbled because Fred Warner is a monster and they went 3 and out with a Lazard drop, they couldn't score, but eventually the Jets just couldn't keep up. The Shanahan scheme needed a bell cow, and without Christian McCaffrey, apparently it just didn't even matter, because Jordan Mason is the best running back in the league all of a sudden, and the Jets defense could not get off their blocks to save their life, put on zero pressure on Brock Purdy, and I know where they go from here. Their only option is to just hope that the defense gets better, because Aaron Rodgers showed a lot of promise. Garrett Wilson was looking good when he got the ball on that first drive, and as long as the defense can pick up, then they should be actually fine. And meanwhile, yes, the 49ers are still the best team in the league. We know this. Kyle Shanahan is very, very good in the regular season, and there's really no surprise here. But before we end the video, you know what time it is. It's time, and it's been so long, for the Tubfrog Discord Awards, where I turn to you, the people on our Discord community, to see what you thought were the best and worst plays from week 1. And to start off with the best play, you guys said that the best play was Anthony Richardson's back foot dime to Alec Pierce for a touchdown, which was just ridiculous. I don't know if we're going to see a throw better than that all year. And then I asked what the best game from week 1 was, and it actually came down to the wire, but Texans versus Colts got the win. I was kind of surprised. I thought Rams versus Lions was sort of far and away the best game, but Colts versus Texans was cool. And then I asked what the best individual performance was from week 1, and this one was just a blowout. Baker Mayfield, just just putting the cherry on top of the Browns' sadness this week. It was amazing. And then the worst team performance, there was a lot of competition, but the Carolina Panthers outdid the Giants and Bengals to just take over the category by themselves. They're not even really an NFL franchise anymore, but, you know, they won this poll, and then I asked what the worst individual performance was, and once again, it wasn't very close. Deshaun Watson is just, he might get arrested at this point, and he probably should, not only for what he's done off the field, because he's a terrible person, but my God, he can't play football. And then I asked what the best fast food chicken sandwich was, and somehow Arby's didn't pull it out. Taco Bell got 2 votes too, but yeah, went to Chick-fil-A. Can't agree with that one. But if you enjoyed this video, then subscribe, because I'm going to be making recaps all year long. So if you did like this one, then chances are you're going to like the next one. And if you also like this video, you might want to check out this video I did a few weeks ago on the New York Jets and their history of misery, which might keep going the way this game looks. It's pretty good, trust me. And then also, thanks to all my patrons for pledging $1. It truly does mean a lot. But anyways, until next time.